as most people know, with the NBA season and offseason, a lot of teams make trades. Some of them work, some of it don't work. We're going to talk about specifically two teams in which gave up a lot for players, and they did not work in the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Atlanta Hawks. Cdubb, Bobby, Haize, we about to get all into it right after this.
The number one place for your daily basketball fix, NBA Central. Hosted by the one and only CEO Haize.
All right, fam. So we're here to talk about trades that did not work in the offseason. I couldn't think of any two teams that shoot to the top of the list and the two we about to talk about. Let's start off with the one that may be the most egregious one, right? And that's because of the number of unprotected picks they gave up in this. The Utah Jazz shipped Rudy Gobert to the Timberwolves for a bevy of picks, all unprotected. When you look at the 2023 first round pick, 2025 first round pick, a pick swap in 2026, 2027 and 29 first round picks. On top of that, they traded Walker Kessler, who's having a really good season for them. Jared Vanderbilt, again, another player's having a really solid season for them. And they could get even another first round pick for Patrick Beverley, Malik Beasley, and Leandro Balmaro. So, guys, how egregious was this pick? And I didn't even mention the money yet that they gave up in the deal.
Yeah.
Considering that the Minnesota Timberwolves right now, Karl Anthony Towns is down, but they're not even in the play-in. While the Utah Jazz started off the season one of the hottest teams in the league, now sit at 19-20. They still are in the play-in tournament. How do you guys feel about this deal?
Man, we actually said it from the jump, like, what are you guys thinking over there in Minnesota, bro? First of all, you're going to lose a person that really gave y'all opportunity. I mean, y'all, identity in Patrick Beverley. I think he brought toughness to that team. Just talking in a small light. But in the long run, what you essentially was buying was Rudy Gobert, a 13-point per game player, 11 rebound point per game. 11 rebounds per game player. So you wanted to pay all that money and give away all those assets for that, and then you want to move Cat to the floor. But in essence, he's a wing player now. He's 7 feet. Look at this. Look at these numbers here. 13 and 11 for Rudy Gobert. Look where they sit at in the Western Conference. They are 16 and 21, bro. They are on a 6-game losing streak as we speak, bro. It is not working, bro.
It's definitely not working. It was a bad trade, in my opinion. These guys, first of all, shout out to Danny Ainge. I don't know how the man keep getting these idiots to give up so many assets for washed up players. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so shout out to
him. I'm going to say he washed.
He's not washed up.
He's not washed.
The plus minuses of Gobert being on the court defensively, he's still having the same defensive impact. That team just did not fit together the way that they had, because they were betting on the Twin Tower lineup working.
And that's what I was getting to. I corrected. I won't say wash, but I say a guy that just doesn't fit and doesn't compare to a Twin Towers that was like AD and DeMarcus Cousins. The difference is that Twin Tower duo can spread the floor, and you had AD, who's definitely a better defender than Karl Anthony Towns. So I just laugh at him because Danny Ainge, he did what he do best. Got these guys over there in Minnesota to give up everything. You ask me, Walker Kessler would have been the better fit. Younger guy, still can defend.
Absolutely.
Hey, we gonna jump into the money now, because that's
my goodness.
Like, the thing is, right, and I before we get into money, I do want to get into the picks. At the time of the trade, I understand why the Timberwolves thought about giving up at least a big portion of that, because in their minds, they're probably at least going to be a playoff team, and those picks weren't going to be anything. The way that this team's looking right now, at least this 2023 first-round pick, that's about to be a lottery pick. That's crazy, bro, first of all. Now, when you talk about the money, first, Rudy Gobert's contract, bro, the 40 – come on, fam. Come on, bro. That's just terrible.
Absolutely.
When you factor in that you are now cash strapped for that much of contract that still has a nice amount of years left on it, that's laughable, bro.
Laughable.
And it's two things that they doing, man. They really stuck with that. They stuck. So ain't nobody gonna trade for it, or you know what I'm saying? You stuck with that for the foreseeable future. But what about Anthony Edwards, bro? What does this look like to this young man when this contract come up?
Well,
when he's looking at this team.
the thing is that when it comes to, keep in mind, players that are off their rookie deal, the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to have the right to match any contract offer that he has. So he's still going to be incentivized to stay with Minnesota regardless. I don't think there's any risk of his contract coming up and be like, I'm out of here. No, we got the rights to you. You're going to be here for a minute. But I do think when you say that the contract's unmovable, any contract's movable in the NBA, but he is due. He is under contract until the 2025-26 season. And that season, his contract is $46 million. It's 31% of the salary cap.
My goodness, for Rudy Gobert, that's crazy.
1/3 of your salary cap to one player who you were at least a playoff team last season. You're not even in the playoffs right now, bro.
You're not even in a playoff.
Yeah, and I don't even think their best lineup consists of him on the floor. That's why
that's crazy.
Yeah, because I get it. He won Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not gonna say he did not deserve it. He earned it. He worked his tail off, and that's probably why they thought that he was gonna be able to do that. But if you want to win, which you was in the playoffs, in the playoffs last year competing, he wasn't there. I feel like they should have went a different route, at least in my opinion.
I feel that too.
It's not to say he trash.
Do you think they pivot? If you had a bet between Cat and Rudy Gobert, because I think at some point this offseason they may have to look at moving one of those guys to bring in somebody who fits better. Which one are you moving if you can?
You can't. I mean, Cat is the better player and a better fit for to this generation's basketball. You got to try to move Rudy Gobert. I don't know how could you. I think it's impossible, but you can't lose Cat.
As long as the Knicks are out there, there's always a possibility. There's always a possibility, bro.
For real. Man, you could try to move Rudy Gobert, but who wanted? You said that last year, $46 million. I mean, is there somebody out there that be like, hey, we just need a defensive anchor? Okay, cool. But I think the more valuable piece will be Cat, and that's a hard decision to make because what are you getting in return? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's that hard when you look at the two players into this day and age.
And that's really what how much this hurt the Timberwolves is that not only did you mortgage your present because you were a playoff team last year. Now you're on the outside looking out. You not only mortgage your present, you also mortgage your future. This is a uniquely idiotic deal when you look at it in hindsight. Like I said, there was some merit to it. You can tell on paper, like, okay, if this works out for them, they could be dangerous. But now that it doesn't look like it's going to work out, this is a monumental, idiotic decision by a front office that you now in the short-term future, you have no picks to look forward to. In the long term, you have the best young talent you have on your rosters is you better hope Edwards turns into every bit of the superstar he looks like he's going to turn into. Because if he doesn't improve and kind of stays around it, even if he stays where he is now, he's always going to be a damn good player. But if he doesn't ascend to top 10 in the NBA talent, you are fucked for at least 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this deal was just like the equivalent to a Hail Mary pass. And the opposite team intercepts it, bro. That's what the equivalent is, bro.
Danny Ainge. It's similar to what he did when he traded Pearson Garnett to Brooklyn.
Yep.
When you look at the Boston Celtics now, so much of their roster are picks or trades from that trade that it's ridiculous, bro.
Mm-hmm. And they were feasting on that for a minute.
Bro, I think they still got another pick due from that trade in the next couple years.
Yeah, bro.
Like, it's crazy, bro. Like how bad that trade was. We're going to be looking back on this in 5 years and literally saying, hey, while I do say that Anthony Edwards he's gonna stay after his rookie deal because they can match anything. But we may look back at this deal as the deal that sends Anthony Edwards in the long term away from Minnesota when you look at it.
Absolutely. And I want to say this. If this thing even had a chance to work, Anthony Edwards would have to take a monumental step in his play. He had to be a superstar type player for that to work. Absolutely.
Yes.
Agreed.
So we'll see. Now, moving on to another deal that just did not work out. And this is one that I did not believe in at all when it happened. Now, I thought that this deal may work out better than the Cleveland deal, which I got proven wrong on that one. But that's the Atlanta Hawks. Now, at least the Atlanta Hawks right now, 9th in the Eastern Conference. They're at least a playing team. But the acquisition of DeJounte Murray, when you look at they also gave up 3 first-round draft picks and a draft swap. And only one of those picks being protected. So the 2025 and 27 pick is unprotected. How do you guys view now this DeJounte Murray from the Spurs to the Atlanta Hawks trade?
Oh man, when we looked back at this trade, we was like, okay, maybe the Atlanta Hawks are really trying to take another step in this Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
But what this trade all boils down to is Trae Young is not happy. And ever since I've been watching Trae Young, since Oklahoma, since high school, he's never, ever had an inkling of being some kind of distraction to his team, ever. So
except that
when you
hair is pretty distracting.
Yeah, your hairline is going down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He is shooting his worst from the field and 3-point range his entire career, bro. He's shooting 31% from the 3-point line, 41% from the field, bro. Like, he is not something. The trade is not working because they're trying to ease the ball handling burden from Trae Young. Plus, they want to cover up some of his defensive efficiencies with an all-star top player like Javonte Murray, which is having usual numbers. He's averaging 20 points per game, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. That's good numbers. But it's taking the ball out of Trae Young's hand. And his numbers is similar a little bit. It's 27 points per game. You can just call it 10 assists per game, but it's still not having the effect. Trae Young is not happy right now. That's what's wrong with this trade.
Yeah, I'm with you, Haize. I was on the side of like, hey, this might actually work. I know Cdubb, when we talked about it, he was more on like, hey, we gotta see it first. And Cdubb wasn't really with it from the beginning, but I gave it a little bit of hope. 17-19 right now as a team. I would say they could still eventually turn it around, but Cdubb, you said the main thing that's hitting home for me. The man is not happy. He already done got into it with the coach. The coach want to make him go ahead and do stuff, and instead of letting him rest up the shoulder, you want the man to go ahead and do shoot arounds that Trae Young felt like was unnecessary. And then there was always some conflict. Well, not always, but there's been some rumbling saying that him and John Collins not getting along.
That's
so
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Now they bring in Murray, and now it's more rumblings coming on. So to me, in my opinion, I can agree with Cdubb. He seems like he's not happy. I don't think the trade is as bad as the Minnesota trade, because I actually feel like the two pieces could potentially work. I don't see a Twin Towers type of situation working in Minnesota.
I will give you that. I do think and look at this trade as a trade that could eventually work, especially if they end up having to move John Collins. If they make the right move and find a better piece that fits in there, they could be rocking and rolling. But I do think you have to look at it that they gave up all those assets, and how much better did they really did get? I'm going to compare it to this. Last season, offensively, the Atlanta Hawks ranked around 15th. They're 12th this season. So they got a little bit better, but not anything considerably better, right? Now let's look at the defensive side of the ball, because that's where DeJounte Murray pretty much makes his bread and butter. The Atlanta Hawks were the 21st defensive team in the league last season. They're 19th this season. Wow. That's where it hurts at, is the fact that you made the moves, and technically you got better in some areas, but not to the point to where you gave up 4 first-round picks to just marginally get better, bro. That's bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's bad. Absolutely. If you look at the record-wise, but all counts, it's a really, really bad, bro. Because last year they were in contention like most of the year.
Yeah.
And
and I was wrong.
I do think
they did get considerably worse offensively. I was looking at postseason offense.
Yeah.
They were actually the 6th ranked offense last season, and now are the 12th ranked offense. They've gotten considerably worse offensive. That's crazy, bro. And
I do believe both of you guys in saying that they could make this happen, but I am very skeptic about Trae Young and how happy he is in Atlanta. That's it. Will he want to make this work? People got their own personalities, bro. Everybody think that you could just get 5 players and 6 bench players, just put them all together, and they supposed to be a well-oiled machine. We got egos, personalities. Like, bro, Trae Young this was his team. Now he's got to share this team with Murray, bro. Is he with that?
And another trade that we may also have to look at is them sending Kevin Huerter away to the Kings, who's been balling for the Kings. They could definitely be using his production right now.
So, Absolutely.
Yeah, man. The Hawks offseason is tough. It's a tough one when you look at where they are now.
It is a tough one because they probably, a lot of people probably be like, hey, the way that Garland and Mitchell is playing, you could probably see that between Trae Young and Murray, but Garland was always a pass first point guard anyway. Trae Young is a scoring guard. You know what I'm saying? So that's what kind of the difference is. Garland, yeah, he could score, but he was always looking to get others involved first. Trae Young, he want to shoot the three. He want to light it up, could put on a show and do the ice tray. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different type of thing.
Yeah. So I mean, they could very well still turn it around in the second half. Go ahead, C-Dub.
Y'all think they too much alike? Their offensive game, because the defensive game, it ain't no comparison. But is Murray and Trae Young kind of similar, and it might be clashing? I think the game is a little similar.
I don't think so.
Pick and roll players.
They are very heavy pick and roll players, but I do think that DeJounte can play off the ball. I think what we're seeing, though, is they're trying to force Trae Young to be the off the ball player. I think with an offseason that and just some removing around of the roster that they're going to figure it out next season. But at least right now, and even if they do figure it out, it's like if you don't become one of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference, you still have to look at that trade like you gave up so many future assets that it's like
absolutely.
I don't know if they can salvage this trade in a way that'll salvage their season in a way that it ever makes this trade quite look worth it, if that makes sense.
I agree. I can agree with that.
But I don't know
maybe
if
not this
season.
Worth it. Yeah, I mean, they could if they go on and win a championship, but how possible is that? You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. That's the type of gamble they did when they made this trade. They thought this would put them over the hump. They already seen the Eastern Conference Finals. So maybe this will put them over the hump, get them to the finals and win it. But it ain't looking good now. It ain't looking good.
It's going to have to be about sacrifice, man. You already know if you want to win and you got new players coming in, there's, with some talent, you got to sacrifice. And that's going to be up to them to decide.
But who should sacrifice?
Everybody.
Everybody got
Everybody has to sacrifice if they really want to salvage this together. Everybody has to sacrifice. This is not working what they're doing. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They lost 3 in a row. They have a negative point differential over the course of the season. It's not looking good, bro. It's just not.
I think they should do anything they could to make Trae Young happy. I ain't even saying that like I'm really a heavy Trae Young fan, but I know he's very talented. They should be trying to make him happy now. And it looked like they just all oppose him. The coach arguing with the star player, that's crazy, making it public. What do you do this to star players? This is crazy.
That Nate was thinking about retiring. Like they're just in complete disarray over there. Yeah, they're going to have to figure out some stuff in the offseason, and hopefully they can. I like DeJounte Murray. You guys know I'm not Trae Young. He complains too much for me, but I like DeJounte Murray. I like pieces of that team, and we'll see what they can do, man. We'll see what they can do.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they get it right. We'll see, though.
We'll see. All right. Any other trades, any moves you guys want to mention before we go for today?
Can we go back to last 2 years ago in the Lakers trading for Russell Westbrook? The worst trade this century.
And then try to act like we gonna get him.
Bro, that's goated as one of the worst trades of all time, bro. Like that shit is bad, bro. That trade is just like, hey man. And to think that they could have had DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso for less than what they ended up paying.
What, bro?
Westbrook.
Yeah. Stupid.
Man, let me ask y'all a question. When they made that trade, did y'all think 2 years ahead that Russell Westbrook would be in line to win 6th Man of the Year?
I did not have any of the podcasts that I had at that point in time. But I did say this trade ain't gonna work, bro. I literally said that.
Definitely wasn't gonna work.
One of my best friends, Baylor, who I do the hip hop, he lives in LA his whole life. He's a huge Laker fan. When that trade went down, I literally called him. I was like, "You think this is gonna work?" He said, "Bro, this is about to be fucking dog shit." And I was like, "Yep, I'm glad."
And now they want to send Russ back to Washington for Bradley Beal. Who gonna do that,
bro? If the Washington Wizards did that, everybody needs to be fired immediately.
Everybody, like,
and the owner need to sell the team for letting it ride.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But we'll see what other trades end up not working out for teams. Looks like the Cleveland Cavaliers got the best of that. Maybe that's the next video that we need to do when we're all together. Is what were the best moves of the offseason?
Absolutely,
we just did the worst.
Facts. We can do that.
All right, man. But that's it for us for today. We still don't got no social media for the show. Ain't got none. You can follow them at the Cognac Boys. You can follow me at CEO Haize. You can send us anything at NBACentralShow@gmail.com. But other than that, we out this month.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.